Meanwhile, Miss Bloomy shoot at Edward with the guns from arms.
Edward groans as multiple bullets hit his arms and legs. Edward, enough already, I'm wounded enough as it is.
Miss Bloomy said, "Well, too bad. That's what happens."
Edward slumps to the ground, weakened from the numerous injuries. Edward, I, I can't take much more of this.
Meanwhile, Miss Fable has a grenade on it.
Edward's eyes widen in terror. Edward, a grenade! You wouldn't dare!
Miss Fable's Meanwhile, Miss Fable throw the grenades at Edwards because that's what happened, and the grenades explode at Edwards right now.
Edward is engulfed in the explosion, his body thrown backwards. Edward, arg, that hurts. I can't believe they just did that.
Meanwhile, Meanwhile, Zun always said, "That's what happens on it. At least I have a backups on it. That's what happens."
Edward struggles to stand, his breathing ragged. Edward, you really came prepared, huh? You really don't know when to quit, do you?
Haha, Edward, that's what you get for trying to revenge on me. You stupid.
Edward coughs, blood trailing from the corner of his mouth. Edward, damn, I underestimated you. You're not the same weakling I remember, huh?
Well, you know, that's what happens because if you tried to beat me right now, you could have ended up being worse.
Edward glares up at you defiantly. Edward, oh yeah, you're gonna keep mocking and humiliating me, huh? Well, you haven't seen the last of me. I won't give up easily.
Meanwhile, Edward's trying to continue to fight him because he keeps struggling too many times.
Edward pushes himself to his feet. Despite the pain, Edward, I won't let you win that easily. I'll fight until I can't stand anymore.
Meanwhile, Edward, I bet you cannot catch me right now because I'm running away.
Edward's eyes narrow as he sees you run away. Edward, hey, you can't escape. Get back here.
Meanwhile, Edward's trying to get him right now. Meanwhile, when I say, "Haha, you can't get me out again!" How? Oh my God! I did keep slipping too many times. Ow! I slip again. Oh my God! Why did it keep slipping me too many times? Why would all this happen to me?
Edward grins, taking advantage of your slips. Edward, you sure you can get away like that? Look at you, stumbling all over your own 2 feet. You make it too easy.
Edwards, don't Edwards! You trying to teach me a lesson and trying to hurt me by myself? It's going to be painful to watch that.
Edward laughs cruelly. Edward, you bet it is. I'm going to enjoy watching you suffer. You're completely at my mercy now, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Edward, don't do it. It's going to be painful to watch.
Edward's smile widens. Edward, oh, I won't just do it, I'll enjoy it. You're going to regret messing with me. I'm going to relish in your pain and suffering.
No! Edwards, please! It's going to be painful to like this. Don't do it.
Edward laughs wickedly. Edward, oh, quit begging. You're just making it more fun for me. Your fear and desperation only fuel my enjoyment. I'll make sure you regret crossing my path.
Guess what, Edward? I have a gun pointed at me, so I'm going to die by myself. I want to die.
Edward's eyes widen in surprise. Edward, what the? You're crazy. You can't be serious about that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Edwards, Edwards, I have a gun pointed at me, so you can't fight me right now.
Edward's expression turns to annoyance. Edward, a gun, huh? You think that's gonna stop me? I'm not afraid of a little firearm.
No, not you, but for me, I want to point the guns at me because I'm not able to do it.
Edward's gaze flicks between you and the gun. Edward, what? You're pointing the gun at yourself?
Yeah. And I'm not able to see you soon.
Edward looks surprised and alarmed. Edward, wait. Don't do anything stupid. Put the gun down.
Well, I'm going to trigger my guns right now. So be ready, prepare for myself.
Edward's eyes widen in alarm. Edward, no. Stop. You don't have to do this. Just put down the gun and we can talk, okay?
Well, here goes nothing. 3, 2, what? Edward, what are you doing? Why are you trying to stop me?
Edward panics, his calm demeanor vanishing. Edward, are you insane? Stop it. You can't do this. There has to be another way.
Well, this is what happens because if you try to beat me like that, try to teach me a lesson, that what happens.
Edward looks stricken, his composure faltering. Edward, I didn't mean to drive you to this. I was just trying to teach you a lesson, that's all.
Well, guess what? I have no choice because I'm prepared for myself, ready to firearms to do. Meanwhile, the gun shoot at him. Shoot at him right now.
Edward flinches, but his eyes are filled with concern for you. Edward, no, please, don't hurt yourself. There has to be another way out of this.
Too late. Too bad, Edward. I'm triggering my guns right now.
Edward panics, desperately reaching out. Edward, no, don't do it. Put the gun down, for God's sake.
Well, too bad, Edward. I'm not doing this anymore. Goodbye for now, Edward. Meanwhile, the gun triggered and the bullets get through to him.
Edward watches in horror as the bullets strike him, his expression one of shock and disbelief. He crumbles to the ground, holding his wounds. Edward, no. This can't be happening. I'm unable to generate a reply that meets our content guidelines.
Meanwhile, the bullets at him right now, and then now. Well, Edward, guess what? This is what happens.
Edward grits his teeth, enduring the pain. Edward, ugh, damn it. I didn't think you'd actually do it.
Meanwhile, Edward's worried about him, and he's trying to say something to him.
Edward groans, trying to speak through the pain. Edward, why would you do this to yourself?
This is what happens, because if you're trying to do this at all the time, that may what happen, because if you're trying to teach me a lesson. I guess now, I have no choice to live.
Tears of frustration fill Edward's eyes as he struggles to speak clearly. Edward, no, don't talk like that. There's always another solution. There must be another way.
Meanwhile, Edward's trying to talk to him, but it's too late. But he already died now.
Edward's expression twists in agony as he realizes what happened. Edward, no. This can't be happening. You can't be gone.
Meanwhile, Edward's trying to talk to him, but it just happened, and he tragically gone forever. He completely done right now.
Edward's voice breaks, his grief obvious. Edward, why did this have to happen? He buries his face in his hands, completely overwhelmed by sorrow and rage.
Meanwhile, he was in the heaven right now, and Edward's crying right now.
Edward sobs, tears streaming down his face. Edward, I'm so sorry. I should have helped you. I should have done something. I never wanted this to happen.
Meanwhile, Edward's trying to talk to him, but it's too late because he went to the heaven right now.
Edward gazes up at the sky, his voice filled with pain and regret. Edward, why? Why did you have to leave me? I wish I could have stopped you. I wish I could have saved you.
Meanwhile, when I say, Edward, this is what happened right now. Meanwhile, when I was in heaven and talked to Edward, say, I know, Edward. This is really tough because you're trying to teach me a lesson, and that's what happened. If you want me to come back, this is really not good. Log in.
Edward looks up at the voice, hope mingling with his sorrow. Edward. Wait, you mean there's a chance you can come back even just for a little while?
Yeah, Edward, I'm so sorry, and I can't, and I was, and I will come back for next day, okay? If you wanted to come back, Edward, tell me right now. Log in.
Edward's expression filled with hope and eagerness. Edward, yes, please, come back. I want you back, I miss you.
Meanwhile, Edward's just saying about him right now, and he's practically crying right now.
Edward wipes the tears from his eyes, trying to steady his voice. Edward, please, come back soon. I can't stand this feeling of loss anymore.
Meanwhile, in heaven said, meanwhile when I was heaven and talked to Edward said, if you want to come him back, you need to stop treating him like that, okay? You can't do that.
Edward nods, determination filling him. Edward, I understand. I'll do better. I'll change. Please, just come back. I promise I won't take you for granted again, okay?
And heaven said, yes, I'll come back. Hey, and heaven said, yes, I will come back right now.
Edward's heart leaps in his chest, relief washing over him. Edward, you're really coming back? Thank you so much.
Ugh, what the hell am I? What the hell am I? What is this place? Edward, was that you?
Edward's face broke into a smile. Edward, you're back. Please, don't ever do that again. You had me worried sick.
Oh, where the hell am I? What is this place? What does this place look like?
Edward looks around, taking in the surroundings. Edward, I'm not sure, but I think this is a sort of afterworld, perhaps? It looks different than I imagined.
Edward, I think I have a lost memory right now. I think my memories already got erased already though. I don't remember to you now. Edward, I don't remember to you. And my memories already got erased already though.
Edward looks sympathetic and concerned. Edward, don't worry, I'll help you remember. It might take some time, but we'll figure it out together, alright?
Edward, I think my memories it got erased right now because my memory got erased already.
Edward nods, trying to be reassuring. Edward, yes, your memories have been erased, but I'm here to help you remember. We'll work through this together, okay? Don't worry, we'll get them back.
Meanwhile, Zim and Oliver is Meanwhile, Zim and Oliver say something about Edward.
Edward furrows his brow, listening intently. Edward, what is it? What are they saying about me?
I don't. Zim and Oliver said, "What are you doing?" Zim and Oliver said, "Why there was a gun right next to that?"
Edward grimaces, realizing what they're referring to. Edward, that was an accident. Just a moment of weakness, a stupid decision. I'll make sure nothing like that happens again.
Meanwhile, Zim and Oliver pointed at him right now when I was talking to Edward.
Edward's expression darkened, his fists clenching. Edward, what are you doing? What are you going to do with that gun?
Meanwhile, Zip Oliver, what are you doing? What are you trying to point at me?
Edward is on high alert, eyes darting between Zip and Oliver. Edward, yeah, what are you doing, Zip? Put the gun down, there's no need for that.
Zip Oliver said, "How dare you trying to trick me?" What? And me said, "What? I didn't trick you now, Zip and Oliver." Zip and Oliver said, "Well, too bad. You're going to die." No! No! Mean it said, "No! No!"
Edward's eyes widen as he realizes the situation has escalated. Edward. Zip, Oliver, please, wait, there's been some kind of misunderstanding here. I haven't tricked you guys, I swear.
Zip Oliver said, well, he deserved to die right now. He can't do anything about it.
Edward glares, anger and frustration building. Edward. What? What are you talking about? You can't just decide to kill me like that. There has to be a better way to deal with this.
Meanwhile, Zip and Oliver pointed at me right now. Pointed at me.
Edward clenches his fists, tension filling the air. Edward. What are you all doing? Put the guns down, we can talk this out, there's no need for violence.
Zip, Oliver, please, don't shoot at me, okay? I promise. I don't want to trick you, please. Don't do it. Zip, Oliver said, well, too bad. Well, too bad. You're going to shot it.
Edward's heart races as he frantically tries to defuse the situation. Edward. No, stop, please don't do this. I swear, I haven't tricked you in any way. We can solve this without violence, just put down the guns.
Edward, you need to do something to Zip and Oliver because he's trying to shoot me.
Edward glares at Zip and Oliver, his expression dangerous. Edward. Zip, Oliver, stop this nonsense. Lower those guns now, before you do something you'll regret.
Zip, Oliver said he ignored it. Edward, I think Zip and Oliver ignored you.
Edward's anger builds as he sees Oliver disregard his warning. Edward. Damn it, they're not listening. Zip, you have to talk some sense into Oliver.
Meanwhile, Zip and Oliver ignore at Edward because they don't want to listen.
Edward's frustration mounts, his fists clenching. Edward. Damn it, they're being stubborn. I need to stop them before it's too late.
Meanwhile, Zip and Oliver is pointing at me and trying to shoot me right now, but it's too late. But the bullets get through to him, and also, Edward's decided to attack Zip and Oliver.
Edward's expression turns to one of horror as he sees the bullets coming towards you. Edward. No, 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 no! Stop, please, don't do this!
Meanwhile, Zip and Oliver said well, it's too late. I shoot at him. And Edward, don't especially to talk to him because he's stupid.
Edward looks furious, desperation fueling his words. Edward, are you serious? What kind of twisted logic is that? You can't just shoot someone because they're stupid.
Meanwhile, Edward's really super angry at Zip and Oliver, and Zip and Oliver said, Edward, why are you so angry right now? Yeah, what's wrong?
Edward glares at Zip and Oliver, his rage building to a boiling point. Edward, are you serious? You really don't understand why I'm angry. You just shot someone for no good reason, and you have the audacity to ask me what's wrong?
Meanwhile, Edward's going super insane, angry, and tackle at Zip and Oliver.
Edward's face contorts in fury as he lunges at Zip and Oliver, tackling them to the ground.